So here's another way we can have a conversation with ChatGPT. And I'm going to head over there again. And it's to start brainstorming your sales page. Now, I know there are some sales copy tools. You answer some questions, it's going to spit out sales copy for you. I haven't used those. I actually don't plan to use those. You are welcome to test them out and stuff like that because I just don't have the confidence that any AI tool could lay out your whole entire sales page without you having more control over what you ask and what you get. But everyone's experience may vary. So I actually hadn't done this very much until recently because I do like writing my sales copy, and I was very I could change my mind. I was very convinced that how can ChatGPT help me write any sales copy, any portion of my sales page when it doesn't know my product? But then I realized that it indeed can help. So I had a little conversation with it again using our gardening journal as a topic. And I will give you guys a link to this chat log as well. And then we'll make sure that's on the replay page later. So I'm going to actually open this up because I have another computer that has the links and stuff that I need. So I went and told it, now I want help writing my product sales page for my gardening journal. Any starting thoughts before I ask some questions? I just asked this out of curiosity. And it says, writing a compelling sales page is crucial for selling your gardening journal. To start, think about what makes your journal unique and valuable to your audience. Consider highlighting its features, benefits, and how it can help improve their skills or enjoy their hobby more. Do you have any specific goals or key points that you want to emphasize on the sales page? So I actually ignored that question, but that's pretty basics. I started thinking about the different parts of sales pages. So I thought one of the things that you want when you are creating a product page, you want to share the benefits of your product, but you also want to them to understand the benefits of what you're trying to help them accomplish. So we're teaching people through our journal how to to become a vegetable gardener, right? So I would ask, what would you say are the 10 benefits of vegetable gardening? So you would read through those, see if those make sense to you, expand on them, and you can, kind of introduce that. So if they use your journal that teaches them that, they can experience these benefits. These are built-in benefits, even it's not features of your product, but it's the benefits of the learning experience. But I know it's a lot of copying and pasting and going back and forth and looking, but I usually like to do it piece by piece because it'll produce the best results. I even will start creating a document or a page and go back and forth. So I ask it a question, I grab the parts I want, and I edit them, and I put them into my document or my sales page. And then I come back and ask another question. So I'm building it as I have this conversation. If you have the whole entire conversation, it might be a little harder to follow and figure out what you want from there, but you can work it however you'd like. So it made something with a little introduction and a conclusion. I do find, one of the things I said, if you asked ChatGPT to do a whole article for you, they do these introductory paragraphs and these concluding paragraphs, but I feel like ChatGPT, obviously it learned how to write, it's been taught how to write things based on sort of what your high school teacher probably taught you about putting together, an essay or something like that. And it ends up being kind of verbose and repetitive because that's sort of what's required for formal writing, but you're on the internet and you want to you don't need to always have an introductory paragraph, a concluding paragraph that summarizes everything. Your concluding paragraphs in an article, for example, would more likely be a call to action, grab something for free or something like that, as opposed to reiterating everything you wrote. So use your judgment. I think, don't just copy and paste blindly because that's what's you're gonna end up with a lot of fluff and things that you don't want. But ChatGPT has great ideas, so there is definitely worth, chatting with it. So one other thing I've noticed too, so sometimes when you ask for a list, it numbers the list. So if you do plan to copy and paste and then edit, it will copy those numbers. So I often ask to redo it or specify just bullet points, not numbers, or no bullet points. Like you can tell it how to format it a bit better, so it's easier to copy and paste. That's just a small point. That's what I told it there. So I said, then I asked it, could you list 10 reasons people struggle with vegetable gardening and how keeping a harvest journal could help them? Bullet points, again, no numbers. So that I want this in a sales page because you want to know why your customer, you want to relate to your customer who's coming, right? Like me, I'm pretending I'm writing a journal on this topic, but I wouldn't because I'm struggling to learn vegetable gardening myself this year, right? So if I could feel like someone understood the struggles I go through, then I'm more likely to pay attention and see if their product would be useful for me. So this goes into lack of planning and inconsistent care. I do think it's a little weird that like ChatGPT put the reasons why they struggle here and then the journal points here. I didn't ask it, but I would ask it to combine that. So, it would be like without a clear plan, gardeners may struggle with layout, plant selection, and timing. This journal helps you plan your garden layout. So I would go down here next and put it together, right? This journal helps you plan your garden layout, plant selection, and planting schedule for a successful harvest. Because you want to kind of introduce the problem and you can also tell them the solution at the same time. I think for a journal, you're going to try to keep a fairly shorter and concise sales page. So putting those things together would work. All right, and then she's got this. Okay. So I also asked it out of curiosity, could you create a short description for a harvest journal meant for a beginner veggie grower who wants to grow a successful garden, right? So I'm telling it about the audience. So it's a harvest journal. It's for a beginner veggie grower and who wants to have a successful vegetable garden, obviously. So it gives a description, right, that may or may not apply to your actual journal because I didn't give it a lot of details, right? But that also, sometimes you can brainstorm this part and then use it to come up with improvements to your journal. So it shows you how to plan your garden, track your progress, monitor plant health, learn and improve. Those are all great things, right? So maybe you will go back to your journal and improve it there. Read through this. Sometimes, again, like it can be a bit wordy and things like that, but it'll give you something really great to go on. There is like I'm sort of jumping around to different parts of the sales page, but what I'm just trying to do is get different pieces. There is a sales page templates for you that kind of walk you through the different parts of the sales page that you could kind of put it in the order that works for you. The idea is just to get a lot of great ideas to incorporate, to relate to your audience, to show them what can happen if they use your journal, right? The benefits of using your journal. And then I said, using that description, could you come up with headlines for the sales page that would illustrate the benefits of the journal? Please write 5 headlines. And I feel like it sort of wrote titles. I said, those sound more like, so it said plant and succeed, your essential guide to a thriving garden, which could be a headline, but also if you're trying to grab attention and share what the benefits are, you might want to do it a little differently. This is sort of cute, not action oriented. So I asked it to kind of fix. I'm looking for a headline that would grab the attention of a beginner veggie grower so they read the sales page and want to buy the harvest journal. So it said, kickstart your veggie garden, the ultimate tool for beginner growers, right? So that's more, that kind of shows who it's for and also a little bit more probably enticing into that. There are lots of, in those templates I shared you, there's lots of headline templates too. So you could look at those and incorporate these ideas as well. Or even give ChatGPT instructions on using the templates. You could put, I have this headline template. How would you, restructure it so that it applied to a harvest journal for beginner vegetable gardeners? All right, so I said much better. Could you write 5 visualization statements for a beginner veggie grower so they can imagine their great garden created with the help of the journal, right? Because we did talk about I'm not going to go up because I'm going to end up getting lost. We did talk about like the benefits and things like that, but this is sort of like a visualization of what life could be like, right? So it says, picture yourself stepping into your backyard oasis, surrounded by rows of vibrant, healthy vegetables, all grown with the expert guidance of your harvest journal. Imagine the satisfaction of picking ripe, juicy tomatoes from your garden, knowing that every step of their growth was meticulously recorded and planned in your harvest journal. You might not need to mention harvest journal every single time, but you'll see that you do want to create that image in their mind. You could also ask it, and I don't think I did it here, is to create stories about someone. Like, tell a story of an inexperienced vegetable gardener and how they were able to overcome it. But you, obviously, in this case, the story would be fictional, and you can still say it's fictional. Imagine yourself as Sally who did this and that. So then I went on and said, I'm going to sell my journal for $17. Can you think of 5 possible price justifications for that price? Price justification is important. It will get you more sales that way, right? Because you're telling them this is $17, and for some people they'll be like, well, great, that's a great deal. I'm gonna go for it. But other people need to think of something like, okay, so I could spend my $17 here, or I could do this, or what will my $17 get? And the idea is that you want them to feel like they get more. They're going to get more than their $17 worth, right? So I did ask it, and I feel like it didn't answer the question very well. So then I had to get more specific with it. I said, how can I show them that the $17 book is a really good deal? For example, if they produce just a few crops, there's my typo again, and I knew what I was saying, it will more than pay for itself. That's what I mean by price justification. So then she says that. So, save money on groceries, grow just a few crops successfully with the help of our journal, and you'll easily save more than $17 on grocery bills over the season. I would say it's, well over that. You could even put a number there. That's bigger. Avoid costly mistakes, right? The mistakes, wasted time on, I would be more specific here, maybe on fertilizer, on seeds, on, seedlings, or whatever you're going to spend money on that, if you don't know what you're doing, you'd easily waste, because gardening obviously can, vegetable gardening can save you money, but also, if you don't do it right, you're going to end up spending a lot of money, wasting a lot of money. So then it gave other options, and I wouldn't use, as far as a price justification, I wouldn't use all of these. I might incorporate a couple of them together, but it's generally like or maybe in different spots. I might say it differently, but I wouldn't use all 5. But it's just I asked ChatGPT for more than I need so that you can look at what they said and figure out which ones are best for you. So another important thing is in your sales pages to, around the time where you're asking for the sale. So this is where, you would mention the price justification would be where you're starting to tell them the price, which this should be mentioned in the sales page template too, that you're right before you're telling them how much it is and giving them the order button, you're going to justify that price to them. You're also around that point going to create, probably in a couple of spots before you're done, create some urgency, like why should they buy it now instead of coming back later, right? Because if they decide they're going to come back later, they're probably not going to come back later. They're going to forget. So I asked, what about creating a sense of urgency so they buy the journal right away instead of thinking about it? I'm thinking this could be a seasonal thing. It's time to get that garden growing now. You would have to update that yearly, however that applies. Or, offering a sale price. The journal is regularly $27. Please come up with 5 points to create urgency to buy. So she talked about I say she, I don't know. Seasonal planting, limited time offer, an early bird bonus. There could, yeah. And the plan for success. This one is sort of like talking about how, like, yeah, if the sooner you start planning and recording with the journal, the sooner you'll be able on your way to success. You can remind them also, not planning for success can be very expensive and a lot of wasted time, and you might actually miss the growing season this year. So you can build on what ChatGPT gets you. Then another great part of the sales page that can actually get you a lot of sales for people who are like, questions are popping up in their head, right? And they probably won't email you. They might, but by the time you return their email, or maybe it gets filtered or whatever, they might have moved on to something else. So having an FAQ, or frequently asked questions, on your sales page can cinch those people who have those questions. And it could be even questions that you've already answered in the sales page, but it's nice, scannable. It's scannable for them, and then they can just get the answers right away and find them quickly and then decide to buy. So I asked for 10 suggested FAQ questions, and it only gave me the questions. So I did realize that I needed to be more specific here. I said, can you also make suggested answers for those 10 questions? I will adjust them for the correct information for my particular offer, right? So ChatGPT is putting it together based on assumptions, but I would read it and make sure it actually fit what I was going to say. So it says what's included. How will it help me plan a vegetable garden? Is it suitable for beginners? Can I use the journal for any type of vegetable garden? Lots of great questions, right? What is the refund policy? These are all the kinds of questions that your customers would ask. You can also think of your own. You always should. And especially based on, when you launch your product, your customers are going to ask you questions. So you should be incorporating that as well. But this will get it started for you as well. It also, in addition to answering those questions that people may be wondering, it also, it helps create a lot of credibility also. Like, you're not just throwing this product up. People are worried about buying stuff online and stuff like that. It shows that you have, there's a lot backing this product. You have very specific answers to what it's all about. It's not just a little document you threw together and are hoping to sell. Then, because remember we talked about creating urgency with bonuses, ChatGPT suggested that to us. So I said, what would you suggest as bonus for offers for this journal? And I asked for 10 ideas. And some of them are physical products like seed starter kit, the garden tool set. Some are digital. If you just want a digital suggestion, say, I just want something printable or downloadable, you can specify that and it'll give you lots of great ideas. Discount on gardening supplies. I love that. Like, if you can connect with I think it is a great suggestion. It might not work always, but, partner with somebody who does sell these physical products that relate to your own topics and ask them for a coupon or something like that. Then, that's a great extra to provide. So that's the discussion I had with ChatGPT. And as you kind of create your own sales page and you work through the different elements of the sales page based on the templates, come back and ask questions, ask it for ideas. Just don't copy and paste them blindly. You may do, a lot of this stuff is good. Some of this stuff is copy and pastable. But always read it, make sure it applies, make sure it makes sense in the offer that you're presenting to your customers.